Before I begin, I've been told that there is a gray Audi out here on Ferry Road that is still running. And so it may be that if you have a gray Audi and you want to go home after the service, it might be a good thing to turn it off. Well, it falls upon me to welcome each of you to this service in honor and in memory of Donna Lou Wood Byrne, or simply Donna, as everyone knew her. I do so with a heavy heart, for no one wishes to be welcomed, really, into the space that we now occupy. When we are so welcomed, it is in order to say goodbye to one that we cherished and loved, and every goodbye comes too soon. But this one especially. Even so, we are here, you and I, and so I say it all the same. Welcome to you. Welcome into this ceremony and into this ritual in which we mourn and in which we celebrate all that was good in the life of Donna Byrne. It turns out that neither Carlene nor I have words that will make everything better. And that's because, of course, there are no words. Donna's death comes as a shock. And so what we're doing right now probably feels surreal for many of you. Nevertheless, we must reach for our best words to speak of Donna's life and to speak of our feelings just now. A little bit later in the service, those of you who wish will be asked to offer your words, your stories about Donna. And so be thinking about those. But I want you to know that we have something more than words available to us. We possess, you and I, the gift of presence, of simply being together with one another in a time of sorrow and in a time of loss. Sometimes the best thing that we can do is simply to sit with one another, feeling all that we can feel, being together. Being present. Sometimes this reaches where words cannot go. Still, I do think it's necessary to use what words we have. We need to do so to acknowledge all that you have lost in Donna. You've lost a spouse of 37 years. 47 years, forgive me. Math was never my strong suit. But you've also lost a mother and a mother-in-law. You've lost a grandmother and a sister and a friend and a colleague and much more besides. There can be a stunned emptiness that comes with such an enormous loss, and it may be that emptiness is exactly the right thing to feel in moments like this. But it may also be that we can fill that emptiness with our stories and with our songs and with our prayers in order to make our hearts feel a little less empty. I think we can do that in part by lifting up what was good, what was joyful, and what was lovely about Donna. And I know that there is much to say in that regard. I won't preempt any of the stories that many of you will share, but I can say that Carlene and I were privileged to sit with Mick and with Jacqueline and with Marianne earlier this week. We were privileged to sit with all of you in your pain. And we were privileged to hear you speak about your wife and about your mother. We heard of how vibrant she was, how energetic, how creative, and how beloved she was. We heard what a great mom she was and what a wonderful grandmother she became. We heard of squirt gun fights in the summer and snowball fights in the winter. And we heard of her teaching and of the swing dances that she organized at the old Saybrook Middle School, something of legend now. We spoke of her leadership here in this place in years past. Friends, the sting of loss is powerful right now. But in the time before us, I hope that we can find ways to lift up the goodness and the joy, the fun and the loveliness that was and that is Donna Byrne. Let me say one last thing here at the beginning. Occasions like this tend to bring people together who are comfortable using the language of religion, and those for whom that language can feel strange and off-putting. I know that in a room of this size and with as many of you as are here, there are probably some who bear the wounds of religion. We get that around here. I get that. At its best, religion is a language for articulating the depths of the human experience. It's a language that's meant to help us articulate the multiple loves that move us. But there are a lot of languages in order to do that, many of which Donna knew. Those depths of love can be expressed in other ways too, sometimes in athletics, sometimes in music, sometimes in the natural world, sometimes in the arts. But I think they're best expressed through our relationships. What I'm trying to convey is that however you happen to organize the world, whatever language or mechanism you use to access the depths of life, especially in moments of sorrow, I hope that the words and the prayers and the songs that we use today can bring you a sense of peace and calm and perhaps a sense of being enfolded within a loving embrace. May it be so for us all. Now, by way of invocation, I wish to share a poem from a writer named Naomi Nye. It's called Kindness, and it gives expression to much of what I have sensed about Donna's life, her love and her care, and her kindness. Here is Naomi Nye. Before you know what kindness is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go. So you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it until your voice catches the thread of all sorrows. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you into the day to mail letters and to purchase bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I that you have been looking for." And then it goes with you everywhere, like a shadow, like a friend. That's kindness for Donna Byrne. Would you join me in prayer? Oh God, before we can know kindness as that deep thing, we must know sorrow as that other deep thing within our lives. So the poet has taught us, O God, and so you have taught us as well. It is sorrow that we now feel. It is sorrow that Donna is not here. Sorrow for all that we have lost when we lost her. Sorrow at things unspoken and walks not taken and moments not yet shared. There is great sorrow in this room, O God. And we ask that you would be with everyone here in the midst of what they are feeling. Be with Mick. Be with Jacqueline and with Mike and with Riley. Be with Marianne and Derek and Charlotte and Robert. Be with Donna's entire extended family. Find them all within their sorrow. Comfort them in these coming moments that they may sense Donna's presence still near to them. May this time open in us all a kindness, O God, a tenderness that seems to arise most fully in moments like this. May Donna somehow be the conduit that opens a great wellspring of love within us all, helping us to be gentle and kind with one another. Enable everyone here to tell the stories of Donna's life, and in so doing to keep her close in mind and in heart. May we remember well the prayer that Jesus taught to his disciples, saying together, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I'd like to invite you to rise and to join in singing hymn number 54, For the Beauty of the Earth. We're going to sing verses 1, 2, and 3, and then at the end of the service, we're going to circle back to this hymn to sing verses 1, 4, and 5. But for now, 1, 2, and 3, For the Beauty of the Earth.
Be seated. Last Saturday afternoon, when we were sitting together with the family, I asked if they could find Donna's Bible, and we found her old childhood Bible, and in it was a little slip of paper in which she had made note of a few Bible passages that we're assuming were important to her. So I read first Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
The second reading we've selected comes from the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 13. This names qualities that apply especially well to Donna. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable. It keeps no record of wrongs. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part. But when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. For now, we see only in a reflection, as in a mirror, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part. Then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And now faith, hope, and love remain, these three. And the greatest of these is love. I'd now like to invite Marianne to come forward to share a poem.
I found this poem and it really spoke to me, and I hope a couple special people really get something from this. Can you hear me? Oh, there we go. Okay. Look for Me in Rainbows by Byrne. Time for me to go now. I won't say goodbye. Look for me in rainbows way up in the sky. In the morning sunrise, when all the world is new, just look for me and love me, as you know I loved you. Time for me to leave you. I won't say goodbye. Look for me in rainbows high up in the sky. In the evening sunset, when all the world is through, just look for me and love me, and I'll be close to you. It won't be forever. The day will come, and then my loving arms will hold you when we meet again. Time for us to part now. We won't say goodbye. Look for me in rainbows, shining in the sky. Every waking moment, and all your whole life through, just look for me and love me, as you know I loved you. Just wish me to be near you, and I'll be there with you.
Well, thanks, Marianne. It's time to sing again, and so why don't we stand and sing hymn number 63, All Things Bright and Beautiful. seated once again. Well, we come now to a time of remembrance, which we've already been doing, but we're going to do it a little more intentionally now. And I'd first like to invite Donna's two brothers, Steve and Dave, to come forward, and they are each going to share some memories of their sister. But as they speak, I'd like to ask you, maybe not all of you, but some of you, to consider offering your own words and your own stories. I know it can be intimidating to do so, but there's no need to feel intimidated here. But Steve and Dave, why don't you lead us off first? Yeah, just come on up here.
Right here. I'm pulling this bad boy out right now. Marianne, there's something special. February 24th, 1964 was a typical Wednesday. It was also the day of my sister's belated birthday arriving. Me. Going through family photos this week, you could see how seriously she took her job as a big sister, steadying me as I was trying to stand up, helping me with my first steps, holding me up at my first birthday cake. I was hers to hold and carry and take for an occasional carriage ride. Now, according to family lore, one of those carriage rides ended with my forehead being introduced to a concrete sidewalk. Details are sketchy, but according to an eyewitness, alcohol was not involved in the accident. But that's not my first memory of Donna. That came on a Friday night, February 9th, 1964. She and her two girlfriends, Sue and Sharon Salek, were sitting on the floor of my parents' living room, inches away from the TV, as four lads from Liverpool were introduced to America on the Ed Sullivan Show. I wasn't even four yet. I can still remember the screaming, pointing out how cute Paul was, still is, and John. They left an impression. Fast forward several years, and it's probably a Saturday in the summertime. And two Harleys are rolling down Benton Lane. It's Smith and Dave and Tommy. And Donna's in the house, and she's got this goofy, flappy cowboy hat, and she's trying to, fashion a chin strap so it doesn't go flying off on the back of Tommy's Sportster. The guys are in the driveway turning the bikes around. She comes out like a jailbreak, flap, looking like the Pony Express. And she hops on the back and squeezes Tommy. The guys throttle the bikes up, start to head up the hill. And she turns around and she smiles. But it wasn't as much a smile as like a giggle. And I didn't understand it until I was a teenager, but I think I know what she was feeling. She was free. She was out of the house, going for a ride with her best friends. You see, at about this time, Donna was the primary babysitter, so I was often with her. But I never felt like she babysat me. I was like her little wingman in the front seat of that Volkswagen Bug convertible, heading down to Root's garage to go see Tommy, or in the back of Tommy's SS, heading down to the farm shop to hang out on a Friday or Saturday night. I don't ever recall her saying, "You stay in this car and pretend you don't exist." And I think that's why there's so many people here. She had that knack for making you feel part of something bigger, involved, and special. I think that was one of her superpowers. Mine's this one, just so you know. In the summer of 1975, a young, up-and-coming singer-songwriter released his third album. Mick and Donna are coming to the front door of our parents' house in Marlboro, and Mick had the album under his arm. He was particularly excited and couldn't wait to share it with us. So it wasn't long before he was laying it down and dropping the needle, and my mom and Donna and Mick and I found ourselves dancing in the living room. I'm dancing with Donna. Mick's dancing with my mom, who just loved Mick so much. It was then I realized Mick could play a really mean air guitar. And we found ourselves all dancing to Born to Run. And my mom had a thing for Bruce Springsteen over the years. It was about that time that we knew Mick was going to be a fixture in our family. He made a Thanksgiving Day cut, and it was time to meet the grandparents. Now, my grandmother was a woman who had an economy for words, so after, I think, sizing Mick up, she shared with our mom. This is a quote. "He looks like he'll wear well." Grandma, you were right. Because 52 years later, they are still enjoying their passion for music together. Just the other night, they went out to see John Anderson and the guys, knocking out a few of Yes's favorite hits. So, a very special love affair. But my sister wasn't just a really cool big sister. She was a really fun aunt. Our girls. I could kind of remember and be taken back as I saw her at family gatherings, at our Thanksgivings, hearing giggles and squeals. She knew how to make you giggle and laugh, and was very interested in how your schoolwork was going, or sports, or boyfriends. Donna organized an annual trip up to Attitash, and dozens of families made that trip up to Bartlett. When our girls were first learning to ski, I looked forward for when our time could come and we could join them. And it was so much fun, being on the slopes. They got to hang out with their cousins. Family dinners and spaghetti after a day on the slopes. But I think their favorite time was those rides up the ski lift with Aunt Donna, with a Walmart supply of endless treats coming out of probably 39 pockets in her skiing jacket. I remember those days too. She continued to support our girls. Most recently, she, Mick, Marianne came up and joined us to see Haley, our daughter, in a musical. Afterwards, we all went out to dinner, and before we knew it, we were saying our goodbyes in the parking lot. I got first hugs. I love to hug my sister. She's a good hugger. And when we were almost done, and I'm about to get in the car, she comes back around. And like a wise-ass little brother, I say, "What's this for?" And she says, "Just 'cause." You see, just 'cause is code for just because I love you. So as I look out at everyone, all your lives that were touched, please know you were more than friends or colleagues. You were part of our family. Just 'cause. Thank you.
Good warm up back. I'll keep it together. Thanks everybody for coming. The last conversation I had with my sister ended with her usual goodbye. Love ya. That sign-off was a fixture of Donna's, as she would end every phone conversation or text or goodbye hug with, "I love ya." I'm Steve, Donna's older brother, and I knew Donna her entire life. And when the unthinkable happened, I was flooded with memories. So I thought I'd share just a few short stories, glimpses of a Donna that you didn't know. Because for me, there was a time before Donna. It was a blissful 2.5 years during which I was the center of my mother's life, the recipient of all of her attention, kisses and hugs. Being an only child was too good to last. Are we okay with this? Yeah, there we go. Too good to last. And I recall the ending of this brief golden period happening something like this. One day, seemingly out of thin air, my mother presents this squawking baby into my life. She introduced her as Donna, your new baby sister. But my first good look at her was of a squirming pink infant lying on her back and my mother changing her diaper. I remember being alarmed by what I didn't see. "Mom, she doesn't have a peenie." "She doesn't need one," my mother replied, talking through one of those outsized diaper pins back from the 1950s. From the very beginning, Donna brought a good time with her, and you all know this. And even at age 4, she was up for new adventures. So I was showing off my newly acquired second grade skills, and I remember proudly reading the story of Peter Pan to my little sister. At the conclusion of the story, Donna yelled, "Let's play Peter Pan. I'll be Wendy." And she runs off to my parents' bedroom, where we proceeded to jump up and down on their big bed. That's about it, you know. In midair, Donna yelled repeatedly, "We're flying, we're flying." And we were, until Donna flew off the bed and cracked her head on the table. It's not as bad as it sounds. Some tears and stitches later, And with the comfort of sucking her thumb, Wendy decided that I could still fly, but that she would watch. Fast forward a few years. It wouldn't surprise you to know that Donna has always wanted to be a mother. And up until the time that she was 7, she would play endlessly with her dolls. It was around that time that our parents broke the news that Donna and I would have a baby brother or a sister arriving sometime after Christmas. This was perfect timing for Donna. Having practiced with dolls, she felt ready to graduate to varsity motherhood. So the baby arrived, a boy, and it seemed to me only a few months later that Donna had somehow talked our mother into letting her take David, all tucked in his carriage, out onto the sidewalks of our Los Angeles suburban neighborhood with me, all of 10 or 11, as her chaperone. Our mother was not a helicopter parent. Things were fine for a bit, Donna proudly pushing her real baby brother down the street. Then all of a sudden, for a reason still to be determined, the carriage wheel caught on something, tipped over, and out tumbled our new brother onto the neighbor's lawn. Donna and David started crying at about the same instant. I was going over to pick up the baby to see if he was broken. When our mother swept in and picking up David off the grass unharmed, she kissed Donna and telling her he was okay. Upon reflection, we clearly had not left her sight. Then the teenage Donna and her posse. You've got some insight to it from the baby in the carriage. At 16, Donna got her license. And it wasn't too long after that I ran into a friend who said he'd been driving down Route 2, going a good 65 miles an hour, when he was passed by a large blue Buick station wagon. It looked like your old man's car. He said, glancing over, he saw 4 teenage girls, car windows down, smoking cigarettes and singing a Beatles song at the top of their lungs. It was Donna, he told me, he said, adding, your sister was flying. Wendy had returned. One last story. It'll bring us up to date with a Donna that you guys all know. One Christmas, Mick, a diehard Red Sox fan, I don't know if I tell any of you that, treated the whole family, including us Yankee fans, Mike and I, to a Red Sox game. And we were sitting in right field, all of us together, and I happened to be sitting next to Donna. The Red Sox pounded Cleveland, beating them handily. I'm sure all of you remember that game. And at the end of the game, as the music coming up, almost simultaneously, the whole stadium broke out in a chant, including my sister and my whole entire family, except for Mike again, and Carol. Yankees suck, Yankees suck. I looked over at my sister. She's chanting this too. I said, I don't get it. You just beat the Cleveland, you pounded them. What's this about? She turned to me, and with a mischievous smile that you all know, big smile, it's what we do. I have a note here. Take a deep breath. Okay. That was then, and here we are now. Now when I think of her, I feel certain that Donna I know and love, would look at the life she lived and smile at how lucky she was to have in her family and friends so many sources of joy. She had Mick. He was the love of her life. And together they raised two amazing daughters, Jacqueline and Mary Ann, who in turn fell in love and married. Jacqueline to Mike, a Yankee fan, and Mary Ann to Eric. Their unions opened up another chapter in Donna's life with the coming of her grandchildren. These three, Riley, Charlotte, and Robert, were a constant source of joy for my sister. Carol and I could testify to this, given that we would receive weekly texts and photos of any one of them doing whatever Donna had cooked up as entertainment. She never forgot how to have fun, how to spread it around. Her grandkids knew that when Grandma got that mischievous smile on her face, at once conspiratorial and secretive. A lot of you know that smile. Adventure was just around the corner. And her friends, Donna's friends. Her friends all knew it was always fun being with Donna. And when she was with her close friends, she was with her extended family. Her friendships were a central part of my sister's life. And if you made a friend of my sister, you had a friend for life. I was lucky to meet many of you over the years, and I could see why Donna chose you as friends. And I know you now suffer a special sadness. You must feel someone dear was stolen from you, someone who can't be replaced. Donna was that rare personality that could light up a room. And I remember seeing this time and again. She radiated an aura that was at once loving and all-embracing. They say a life lived in fear is a life half-lived. Donna was fearless, and Donna lived a full life. So I would close with something I know in my heart she would have me pass on to each one of you. That Donna, our sister, your wife, your mother, your grandmother, your aunt, your cousin, your dear friend, would have you remember her incredible smile and her laughter. And she would have you hold forever in your hearts her unconditional love.
All right, friends, we're going to do this. I want to open it up to all of you now and see if there might be one or two or maybe several of you who would like to share a story. You don't have to come up here, by the way. It can be intimidating, especially in the pulpit, but there is a microphone down there. You're welcome to come up here, though, too.
I didn't know quite what I'd say here today, but I knew I had to say something. I love Donna Byrne. There's no doubt about that. She was one of my best friends, and this last week I feel like something been taken out of my heart and replaced with pain. Makes me think back when I first met Donna and Nick through Nancy. back in New Haven. I didn't realize it that day, but it was one of the best things that happened to me in my life. They became eternal friends over the next 50-odd years, sharing sorrows, joys. It was fun. We shared a lot of good meals, a few Red Sox games, some musical events. It was all good. And I watched her raise a family with 2 great daughters, and I was proud to know all of them. She was a very giving friend. If you needed something, she was right there for you. She never put herself first. When I had my car accident, she masqueraded as my sister so she could get into the ICU. She made some important medical decisions and consultations with doctors that I didn't know about for weeks. I then went into rehab down here in Bride-Brook. Her and Mick came by all the time, bringing me good food instead of that Bride-Brook food. And we watched the Red Sox win the World Series that year. It was 2013, so we had kind of a good time. We were keeping all the old people up there in the nursing home, and it was good. But I got out. I went down to the nursing home, and Donna would bring me the food, like I was saying. But Donna would stop by in the daytime and feed me coffee milkshakes, because she wanted to fatten me up so I could get the hell out of there. So we spent quite a bit of time drinking coffee milkshakes and, talking about life and how I was going to get through the rest of what I had to go through. And she helped me immensely. I know that I would not have made it through that as well as I did without Donna Byrne. That I know. And I miss Donna Byrne immensely already, and I miss her. But I will never forget her, never.
Donna was a daughter, a sister, a wife, a mother, a grandmother. I know her as a teacher. My name is Mike Rafferty, and I was principal of the Old Saybrook Middle School for 23 years. And Donna was one very special teacher. There wasn't any event in the school, inside or outside, that she didn't participate in. Her value structure of helping kids was beyond. So she had another family, thousands of kids, thousands of parents, but also hundreds of teachers that adored her. And seeing so many here makes me feel very thrilled, because she was one special person. Through the years, I came outside of Boston to open up the new middle school, and Donna's was the first person that really connected with the administration to get the new school going. And there was nothing, committee or whatever, that she didn't participate in. But we were fortunate in 1996 to receive the highest award that a school can receive, and that is the United States Department of Education Blue Ribbon. And I truly believe it was because of Donna Byrne, because the site visitor came. It happened to be the night of the Project Adventure display. And Project Adventure, it's an indoor and outdoor. Donna made sure that I learned how to hold the rope so the kid wouldn't fall. Another story. But we were there, and we had the site visitor next to me, and all of us, the kids were up above, and all of a sudden, this kid came down. The site visitor grabbed me. She thought the kid was falling, gonna get killed. And I said, don't worry. And Donna saw this, so afterwards she came up and said, "I'm sorry if you were scared to this." But Donna was a leader of children, a leader of our teachers, and the teachers loved her. And thank you, Donna, for everything you did for all of us.
My name is Annette Hall, and I know Donna because I met her when I was teaching at the middle school under Michael, and I knew her well. Everybody knew Donna at the school, but I wasn't really good friends with her, although every time I saw her, I felt like I was her best friend, but I never went socialized with her or did a lot. We were on some committees together, and I really got to know Donna much better after we were both retired. I have 3 sisters, no brothers. But Donna talked about you guys. She said you were the best brothers, and you protected her and took care of her whole life. She loved you dearly. So I had 3 sisters, but Donna was really she came to be my 4th sister. You know how sisters sometimes get into some rivalries or criticizing each other? Donna was better than a sister because there was none of that. She was always so very kind. And at first, I thought she was kind of taking me under her wing because, she was on a pedestal in my eyes. I mean, Mike was not exaggerating. She was a very special person at the school. So I felt very, very privileged at first to be her friend. And Donna and I really got close these past few years. We were in a wellness business together in our retirement, and we would go to conferences together. She was my travel buddy. We'd share a hotel room. And she always said, I'd always be concerned about my hair or something, or my shoes or something. And she'd say, "Oh, you look beautiful in that." That was Donna, always saying something nice. Always saying something nice. So we were in Indianapolis once, and it was evening, dusk, and our team was doing something really cool, but Donna and I were kind of like, hey, we've done a lot of cool things at the middle school, and we were tired, so we thought we'd go back to the hotel. Well, I don't have a very good sense of direction, so I always try to look at buildings and street signs when you're in a town, which I know is very natural to the rest of you. But we departed the team, and we get to this intersection, and Donna and I look at each other in the streets, and she goes, "This way." And I said, "I don't think so. I don't have a very good sense of direction, but I really think it was this way." And we argued, but we went my way, and we did make it back to the hotel with a few more turns. So that was a good thing we made it back. But she was my walking buddy. We walked at conferences. In recent times, we'd walk often when we were together. We were chatting and talking 3 times a week. So we walked at our conferences. She visited us in Florida, and we'd walk in Florida and golf a little. I don't know how to golf. She'd help me with my swing. One time when we were walking in Niantic, if you know Niantic, there's this place called Oswegatchie Hills. And Oswegatchie Hills is a wonderful place of walking trails, and the Eagle Scouts go in there and they mark the trails, red trails, blue blazes, green, yellow. And I think of it as miles and miles of trails. So we decided we'd walk there one day instead of Rocky Neck or the boardwalk. So we go over there and we meet at Veterans Field. And if you don't know Oswegatchie Hills, you could enter it from about 4 different places. You park your car and you go up in there. So we get out and we said, red blazes. We can't go wrong. Let's follow the red blaze. So we're walking up the hill, and about 45 minutes later, maybe an hour. There we are at the top, and there's a map, you know, the Here You Are map. You are here, whatever it is. And there's a red trail that we just came by, and a red trail in that direction. And I swear, there's like 3 red places. I don't know what those Eagle Scouts were doing. And then up like a yellow one, and one that's half green and half white or something. And she and I look at each other, and we're like, oh God, I'm kind of tired. I said, I know. So I know this is a loop, though, because I've done it before. So he said, all right. Finally, after much discussion, we went off on the trail. Well, it's like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I know, Donna. It's okay, let's keep going. We'll get there. We walked a good hour and 10 minutes more, and we came out, and it was an exit, but our car was nowhere in sight. And I said, oh my God, we're at a different entrance. So we did have cell phones. I had to call my husband because we were a long ways, and he had to come and get me, take us to the car, and then we were fine. But so, you know, there was someone in the world with a worse sense of direction than I had, although mine's pretty bad, my husband will tell you. But so I lost my walking buddy, my good friend, my travel companion. Oh God, I did when Mick called me. I sat down and I just started writing all the things that Donna meant to me because I had to. It was just in me. I just had to pour it all out. But I rest in the knowledge that she is still with us. She has touched all our lives, and she is a part of us. And yesterday, someone called me, and I was impatient, and I hung up, and I said, I could feel Donna say, that wasn't very nice, Annette. And I said, I'll try to do better, really, because she exuded kindness. And she taught me so much. Taught me so much. Where's Deb Peg? You come, Deb, why don't you come and tell her your story about how kind Donna is? No, you're not going to talk. Deb, so I called Deb, and she goes, wasn't she just the kindest person? Oh, I know what it was. I said, Donna was my best friend, and Deb was, no, Donna was my best friend. So Donna was the type of person, she made each of us feel like we were her best friend. Thank you.
I want you to know Donna was my best friend. She was my bestie. Donna was my best friend before I even met Donna. Back in 1981, I started working at the old Saybrook Middle School, and Donna was out on leave because Jackie was a little baby. And teachers said to me, oh, wait until you meet Donna Byrne. You and her are going to be best friends. And we were. How did they know? There are so many things all week long. Every time I turn around, I think about Donna. Donna and I called each other. Whoever saw a hummingbird first every year, we called each other. We went skiing at Attitash. Donna, we had to take our son to the hospital one year when we were at Attitash, and they had a fire drill. Donna was sort of watching over our 2 other girls, and she had to get them outside during the fire drill in the middle of the night, wake them up. I mean, who does that but your best friend? She was such a great person. We learned to play golf together. Just as life progressed, we just found new things to do together. Our kids grew up. Then we had grandkids. She'd come over with Riley and Izzy. And you know there's a plan for Riley and Izzy later on in life, right? We made that plan. She was and always will be missed. I love her so much.
I figured I'll win the award for knowing her the longest, going back to the mid-'60s in elementary school in Glastonbury. through Academy Junior High School, and then both proud 1970 grads of Glastonbury High School. A wonderful person, but I don't have that many stories about her, but I thought in Nancy Smith's absence, who was mentioned, Smith, now Nancy Piella, there were two of the greatest friends ever. And Nancy, unfortunately, is down in Florida right now, and it's killing her that she's not here. So in her absence, there's a boatload. If she was here, we would be here all night with stories of Smith and Donna. So in her absence.
I'm Jacqueline. Nice to see you all. I wasn't really planning to say anything, but I wanted to at this point. And the first thing was, for someone who wasn't born with any sisters, she accrued an awful lot of them throughout her life. And even when I was younger, she would get a hoot out of when her and I were together out somewhere and someone would think her and I were sisters. She thought that was fantastic. But what I wanted to say now is just something about this past week, and Saturday and Sunday were pretty awful, but the warmth and the amazing number of just genuine phone calls that have come, people stopping by, and all of that has been more comforting than I think I thought it would be. But after Saturday and Sunday, something I wasn't expecting, just being at the house and surrounded by her at the house, was just how peaceful part of this week has been, and just remembering and hearing the stories and meeting people that I had heard about but had never met. It was an oddly peaceful week, and connecting with my dad, and I think a huge part of that was just everything people have said today, is just her kindness and her generosity and her presence just exists in a way that made this, I don't know the right word. But I wasn't expecting to get through this week, and I think she created a space where we could, and I really appreciate that, and all of you as well. So thank you.
I think, in a way, it's fitting that Jacqueline should have the last word in this process, but not the last word, because when we get to the fellowship hall for the reception, the storytelling process will continue. And so I hope you continue to share these stories. I hope you continue to share them with the family. They have shared that this is a gift to be able to hear all these things about Donna. So please continue to tell the stories, share the stories, but above all, share them with Donna's family. And with that, we'll transition to a song from Robbie Robertson, which is special to Mick and maybe to a whole lot more of you too.
There's a tradition honored by the indigenous people of Southern Africa that's valuable to us today as we gather in honor of Donna's life. When a loved one dies, their family members take a stick and they drag it from the place of burial all the way back to the home to which they return. They make a line in the sand that creates a pathway to a small door at the back of the hut, known as the Door of the Ancestors. And they believe that their loved one's spirit will travel that path back into their lives in the days to come, giving them wisdom and strength and comfort as their lives move forward. So the ancestor continues to visit the living. It's an image I'd like us to keep in our hearts and minds as we remember Donna in a prayer of gratitude. Let us pray. God of the ages, whose presence in our lives is more mystery than can ever be fully understood, be with us now as we gather in memory of Donna, we pray. Be with us as a spirit of love and grace and compassion, for our hearts are heavy with loss. Donna was right here beside us for a time, and she filled our lives with grace. The place she occupied in our minds and hearts and souls feels empty without her. She was a source of wisdom and strength, and she exuded a joy in living that was contagious. And while we knew that we couldn't hold her here any longer, we hated to let her go. She came from you, God, and to you she has now returned. But loving God, amidst our sorrow, our minds are filled with gratitude for the gifts Donna has bestowed upon us all, and for the memories that she has helped us craft that will be with us all the days of our life. The stories of how much Donna meant to each of us are the stories we now tell to one another, holding fast to that of her that dwells still within us, for she has helped make us who we are. Help us to be comforted by the knowledge that as a beloved ancestor, she can and will return to guide our living. God of mercy, help us to long remember and cherish our memory of Donna's joyous spirit. She taught us the value of play and the therapeutic value of joy. She had the gift of making each one of us feel special. She helped us to experience fellowship as we played and worked together. Countless times, she helped us to learn how to work as a team, no matter what the challenge. There was in her a vitality and love of life that leaves us all the richer for having known her or worked beside her or joined with her in the activities she loved. God of wisdom, help us to long remember Donna's skill as a teacher. She was creative and dedicated and energetic. And she gave to her students something they can carry with them all the days of their life, an awareness of the value of being active and working together. She listened carefully, and she spoke thoughtfully. She knew how to read people and how to intersperse hard work with a measure of humor and a ready smile. She valued people's individual strengths and gifts, and she knew how to instill confidence. In the years to come, may we let the dedication and skill Donna exemplified as a teacher guide our own lives of service to others. Let it be, Lord, that Donna's spirit travels that path back into our lives so that we might be people of integrity, people of service, people of compassionate connection one to another, people of vitality and joy. We thank you today, God of creation, for Donna's love of the natural world. The home Donna and Mick created on the edge of Lake Patagonia brought them 20 years of peace and solace. They worked together to rebuild and create a magical place where the blazing sunsets and the winter ice and the sparkle of sunshine and eagles and blue herons and migrating birds filled their lives with wonder and appreciation for all the natural gifts, great and small, that are ours for the taking. They understood the priceless value of nature's wild and extravagant beauty. They worked hard together to make all the wonders of that cherished place come to life. We are grateful for the memories that abound there, and prayerfully, we ask that Donna continue to travel that path of the ancestors back to grace that place of love and memory. In the years to come, let us claim some of Donna's thirst for adventure, from winter skiing to summer kayaking to hikes and outdoor adventures of all kinds. Let her love of sport and adventure shed its life on how we live our days. St. Paul tells us there are only 3 things that endure through time: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. So we gather in profound gratitude for the love that Donna had for this family, a love that will endure. We thank you for the long 47 years of marriage she shared with Mick, for the support and care they gave to one another and the joy they found in one another's company. We thank you for the enduring love and devotion she had for Jacqueline and Marianne, to Riley and Charlotte and Robert, to Mike and Eric, to Steve and Donna, Steve and Dave and those they love. We pray that the love that has held this family close over the years will continue to guide and inspire them in the days to come. Help them to remember and hold fast to the courage Donna exemplified in fighting hard to manage the challenges imposed on her by the weakening of her lungs. She had a fighting spirit. Help them to know that, like her, they shouldn't give up when the path ahead is not easy. Enable Donna's spirit to return again and again to all those she loved, to urge them on in life. Help them to claim as their own Donna's spirit of adventure, her contagious enthusiasm for life, her gentle goodness, and her authentic compassion for others. Help them to feel her loving presence around and about them all the time. In the days to come, gracious God, remind Mick of the abundant love he and Donna shared and created together for all their loved ones. And let it be that Mick feels Donna's presence around him and within him every hour of the day and the night, because the bonds that held them fast are with him still, giving him strength for each day. Keep and guard Jacqueline and Marianne, Riley and Charlotte and Robert, Mike and Eric, and all Donna's loved ones in the days to come. Remind them that Donna's gifts of love and devotion surround them still, and that she can and will return to them with wisdom and strength when they need it, for she is surely with them every day. She is part of their very being. Help them to feel Donna with them when they walk the trails and forest paths she loved, when they pause to spend a quiet evening at the side of the lake. Help them to think of her and find her presence when they pause to honor the beauty of a winter's sunset reflecting off that ice, or when the kayak slides over the waters of the lake, or when they hear the laughter of children at play. Help them to know that Donna is everywhere now, in the gifts of nature she loved, and in the hearts of the people who loved her. She is an enduring spirit of love and integrity, mercy, strength, and joy. Be with us all, gentle God, to mend our sadness and give us the courage to laugh and love again in each new day. All this we pray in the name of a God who is known by many names and who we name this day as Jesus the Christ, our friend and guide and Redeemer. Amen. Now I invite invite you to stand if you're able, and we'll finish that hymn we started before, hymn number 54. We'll sing verses 1 and then 4 and 5.
You may be seated once more. Before I offer the benediction, I want to remind you once again to join us in the fellowship hall. It's through the corridor here and then just down the hall. And that's a great time to continue to tell these stories to one another, but most of all to Donna's family. Hear now these words of benediction, a poem from a poet named John O'Donohue called Bayonne. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. And when the canvas frays in the boat of your thought and a stain of ocean blackens underneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. And may the protection of the ancestors who Donna Byrne has joined, may they be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. Friends, may you all somehow come to feel that invisible cloak in the coming hours, in the coming days, in the coming months, whenever, wherever your mind turns toward Donna. May that invisible cloak of love be wrapped around you